In sports, we all love a good dark horse, out of nowhere kind of winner, right? It's what makes March Madness so great, when you see just a low-seeded team that nobody expected to get past the first round just start racking up win after win after win. Or when we see the kind of player that isn't really thought of to be in that like top tier group of guys go on a magical run in a season and win an award like the MVP. And in 2023, Kyle Tucker might go ahead and do that. Now, in the AL, we have our perennial favorites like Judge and Trout and Ohtani that we kind of expect to win an award like this. But Kyle Tucker has fairly quietly put up some really good numbers over the last couple of years, and I think it's time that we talk about Kyle Tucker as potentially the dark horse MVP candidate of 2023. This is Smarter Baseball, where we deep dive into everything going on throughout Major League Baseball. So if you're a fan of baseball, like the video and subscribe to the page so that you don't miss out on any other baseball content like this that I know you're going to enjoy. Now, Kyle Tucker's professional career started when he was drafted in the first round, 5th overall by Houston back in 2015 out of high school in Florida. Now, when he went to the minors, he absolutely tore through the minor leagues. 525 games, he slashed 283, 356, 507. That's an 863 OPS and hit 95 home runs in that time. That's because Kyle is primarily a fly ball hitter. He hit a good amount of line drives as well in the minor leagues. And this really just lets him show off this home run kind of power that he has. 15.9 homers per fly ball and a 4.2 home run percentage in the minors are both noticeably above what the 2022 MLB average were for these stats. Now, most of the time when we see power hitters like this, they tend to have that swing and miss strikeout tendency. Maybe not the best approach overall. Kyle has a pretty damn good approach. 18.4 strikeout percentage is about 4% lower than MLB average, and he gets his walks as well at 9.7%, almost 1.5 higher than MLB average this last year. When you take all of this together, an amazing slash line, home run power, a great approach, it's no surprise that Kyle was the number 8 prospect according to MLB.com entering the 2019 season. Now, he had actually debuted the year before on July 7th in 2018, but he only played 28 games that year and then followed that up by playing 22 games in 2019 because of a combination of the Astros just being loaded at the time and Kyle taking a second or two to really get his footing in the major leagues. Now, in 2020, this is where Kyle took over full time, and this works out perfectly because me personally, I like a good 3-year sample for a player to really get an idea of what kind of a player they are. I think 1 season can be a fluke, so when you get 3 together, 2 of those are probably a pretty good representation, and then 1 is either like a ridiculous ceiling or floor kind of a thing. So I think it's a pretty good idea of what kind of a player we're looking at here. Now, granted, 2020 is one of these years, and so that's going to kind of throw this off, but 2020 kind of threw off a lot of things, so let's just take it with what we've got here. For Kyle, from 2020 through 2022, he played 348 games, hitting 69 nice home runs, slashing 274, 341, 515 for an 856 OPS. That was good for a 135 OPS plus and WRC plus. He had 12.8 B-WAR in that time and 11.1 F-WAR, which if you roughly average out to a full season's worth, he's sitting right about at all-star level production for WAR based on how it's all kind of rated. He continued to showcase this ability to just hit the ball extremely hard. 44.3 hard hit percentage over this time, compared to the 35.8% average in 2022 for a reference point there. Continuing to just hit the ball in the air, letting it travel, getting these extra base hits, and racking up these home runs. Now that we have a little bit more data on his approach once he got into the major leagues here, Kyle's not afraid to swing, but he's still very, very smart about how he approaches his at-bats, not chasing a bunch, not whiffing, still gets his walks, still doesn't strike out. All in all, just a really well-rounded offensive player here. Now, to look at 2022 specifically, this was the first year that Kyle got an All-Star nod and won a Gold Glove out in right field, despite the fact that his numbers were actually down a bit compared to the average that we just talked about in these last 3 years. In 150 games last season, Kyle hit 30 home runs, slashing .257, .330, .478 for an .808 OPS, a .128 OPS plus, .129 WRC plus, and his 5.2 BWAR and 4.7 FWAR again put him right about at that 5 WAR that is deemed all-star level value when you look at WAR. Comparing this though to 2021, which was actually his best offensive season so far yet, he posted a 145 WRC plus in 2021. You can see one real kind of main difference that sticks out to why his numbers dip down like this, and that's mainly the swing path for him and his launch angle. In 2022 and kind of throughout its career, it's tended to jump up a little bit, and 2022 is where it started to tick up even more, especially compared to 2021 here, where we saw this really, really high offensive output from him. You saw more fly balls and now less line drives below average for him in 2022, and he was hitting the ball softer because of this. Weirdly though, despite the fact that he was actually pulling the ball more, which tends to make you hit the ball a little bit harder. So when we compare the two of these and we see his exit velo had gone down from the 85th percentile to 69th, again, nice, last year. Hard hit percentage went from 83rd percentile to 63rd, and his barrel percentage dropped from 78th to 70th percentile from 2021 to 22. This is all despite the fact that nothing really changed with his approach. In fact, it probably got better. His strikeout percentage went from 81st to 85th percentile. Walk rate went from 57th to 67th, and chase percentile went from 56th to 67th. So all in all, it really points towards this difference in the launch angle and the swing path and all of this. So it's a very mechanical thing, I think, that he very easily could fix to get that back down a little bit. And that's the real scary thought here. Because if we combine the fact that now he's pulling the ball more with the fact that we can get his launch angle back down to where we saw this really high offensive output for him, you're going to be taking basically the same numbers in 2021, where he also hit 30 home runs in 10 less games, by the way, slashed 294, 359, 557 with a 917 OPS and that 145 WRC plus. Combine those numbers with the fact that when you pull the ball and are hitting it a little bit harder now, those should go up, along with the other fact that he's only entering his age 26 season. So just like we saw with his approach here and just with everything in general, this is only his 3rd full season in the major leagues. He's only getting better. If he can make this mechanical adjustment to get that swing path a little bit back more to where it was in 2021 and earlier, and we see these better results that he was getting before this dip last year, with pulling the ball more, so hitting it harder than he was before, and getting older and stronger and having a better approach, and all of this, we could be looking at an absolutely insane MVP type of season from Kyle Tucker in 2023. What do you guys think about this? Comment down below. Could he be the 2023 dark horse MVP candidate in the AL, or who else could be there? Comment all of your thoughts about this down below. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You can check out more of our content right here, seeing the video that YouTube recommends for you or my most recent upload. And once again, go ahead and click on this face to subscribe to the page so you don't miss out on any other content like this. This is falling apart. Let's end the video here. Have an awesome day.